sorry, the number you have dialed is...
Though it might seem like we're playing a counterproductive and never-ending game of dig a hole, fill it up, there is a method to the madness, as explained by Mike Izzo.
All these trenches that we see out here right now, Mike, what's the story on these trenches?
The trenches are going to carry the PVC pipe that will hook into the deco drains that are around the perimeter of the pool deck and carry the water off to the end and then dump it into either the weir or the lake. So that's going to carry all the PVC piping, which will change diameter as it gets towards the stairs. They're going to start forming the outside, and then that'll give them their height that they can shoot off of and set all their pipe, because their pipe has to pitch 1% grade.
That's why we see the people out here with the laser level and the and look like a radio level.
That's correct.
So that level has a transponder in it.
That sends out a beam of light that hits their transmitter that's attached to their level, which they're adjusting for height.
48 hours later, with the pipes laid in, the sand recompacted, we're ready to move on to the next step. With the foundation boards attached to the perimeter walls, it's time to set finished grade, bringing the sand in and compacting it in place. The compaction has been done in a series of what's called 6-inch lifts. We add 6 inches of backfill material, then compact it, and we're ready to bring in the next layer of material and compact that. The reason we're constantly compacting, we have to maintain a firm foundation under the deck so we don't get cracks in the concrete later. All day Thursday, final preparations were being made, putting foam insulation at the edge of the forms for the deck, setting the chemical tanks, making sure all the steel is tied off for reinforcing the cap, and making sure that the final grade is set correctly for the wheelchair ramp. With all the backfill set at the correct level, it was time to put the moisture barrier down, a thick layer of plastic taped in place around the entire foundation of the deck. Once the moisture barrier was set in place, it was time for the crew to start setting the deck drain components. We asked Mike Izzo to explain how all this works.
All right, Mike. Show and tell time. What do you got?
Well, we got this is a 4-inch piece of the deco drain without the lid on it, and this is a 3-inch piece, which the majority of it is 3-inch around the outer perimeter of the pool. The 4-inch is going to be run up against the pool house to take any rainwater that comes off the roof at the same time. So Scott had thought that it would need to be a little bit bigger than the 3-inch running around the outside. It's going to have a tan grate, which I guess will match pretty good with your paint color on your walls, because it's almost identical. And all the drains will tie into some pipe that's run out around the perimeter and then down the one step into the lake.
How do these pieces tie together?
They cut there's a splice block that ties the 3 to the 4, but other than that, there's separate size for each one to
So it's a little sleeve that fits in between them?
Yes. What this will do, where the 3-inch meets the 4-inch, they've got a coupling connection, and they're going to slip together and complete one complete loop. So the drain will tie together and go out to all the drains. It'll be one complete connection. And then we have a cover piece that'll go on this one, and we're going to show you the backside just so you can see the color. We can't pull the tape off of the front because it's a protector till they're done pouring.
As Mike pointed out, the deck grading covers are an exact match for the color we've picked for the foundation block, Sherwin-Williams Beach House. The plastic drain pipes are set up on these metal pins so that when we pour the concrete, it will flow underneath them and around them, fully encapsulating them in the concrete slab. This will provide the strongest possible surface. Before we could pour the concrete, we still needed 2 inspections from the Town of Longboat Key Building Department. The first came while our cameras were on site.
Tony Sapupo.
And you're with?
The Town of Longboat Key.
And what do you do at the town?
I'm the electrical mechanical official, also a building and plumbing inspector.
I understand that you do the residential pool inspections?
Pretty much every one of them.
How many are there on Longboat Key?
There's got to be close to 3,000 residential pools. This one being a commercial one, this is quite the pool.
How long have you been doing this?
A total of 16 years.
I mean, it looks professional.
Well, we are professional, right? Right on.
That's it.
Tony inspected our electrical connections, our gas connections, checked the ground lines to make sure we wouldn't get galvanic corrosion problems with our metal components, and finally gave us the thumbs up.
I say carry on.
The crew spent the remainder of the day and Friday morning laying in the rest of the deck drain. The bulk of Friday's construction effort was laying in the steel webbing to support the concrete. The concrete has to completely encapsulate the steel to keep it from rusting. That's the reason for those plastic stands. They're called high chairs. As you watch a steel worker tie off the rebar, the speed and precision that they work at is quite remarkable. That's why a crew of 3 can do this entire pool area in half a day. Late Friday afternoon, we passed the final inspection of the steel webbing by the Town of Longboat Key Building Department. With the steel work completed, the last of the wooden forms were placed in preparation for pouring the concrete next week. The red line indicates the finished height of the concrete deck, so as you can see, the bottom of the water treatment unit will actually be buried in the concrete slab. As the sun was setting Friday and the crew were picking up their materials, only one task remained to be performed: installation of the expansion joints around the collar of the pool. And with that, first thing Tuesday morning, we'll be pouring the concrete deck. So enjoy this last look at the pool in this form. From now on, there'll be nothing but concrete showing.